Hello everyone and welcome to our special live stream featuring an exclusive Divi layout only available to lifetime members. So in this live stream, I'll be showing you how to create dynamic pricing tables with Divi and our exclusive layout, Black Friday layout pack, which is the software sales page, software sales landing page. Okay, so by any means, if I'm moving too fast in this tutorial, we have a post which has step-by-step instructions of how to achieve what we're going to be doing today. And also, there's also a video which shows you how to import this layout onto your Divi website. So these layouts are exclusive to our lifetime members. So if you're a lifetime member, all you have to do is to go to your dashboard. In fact, I'll show you in a minute where you need to go and then download that layout, and then you can obviously do whatever you want with it. All images and graphics are free for you to use, so you can go ahead and use those even for client work. Okay, so I can see right now quite a lot of you are tuning in. This is great. We are streaming live on Facebook and also on YouTube. So I'm just going to take a quick look here and see if everything is working okay, and it looks like everything is fine here on Facebook and also on YouTube. Okay, so as I mentioned, we are doing dynamic content, and this time we'll be using advanced custom fields. So I'll be showing you step by step how to set the custom fields, how to add the content in, and pretty much how to get a final result. So let's take a look at what we'll be working on today. Right, so I'm going to switch over here to my computer, and then I will show you what we are working on today. So this is the layout. Okay, I'm just going to scroll all the way to the top here. So this is the layout. So what I'll be adding on today, or what I'll be showing you today, is the pricing table. So this is what comes with the layout, and this right here on the bottom is what we will be creating. So I'll show you how to add all these colors, all the gradients, and also how to add the custom fields. Right, so just to show you, I'm just going to go here quickly. This is the article, which I've linked in the description below. So here we have all the step-by-step instructions of how to create this, and also there's a video which shows you, and it's right here by Donna. This video actually shows you how to add your layout onto your website. Okay, so if you have any questions about what we're doing today, please leave your questions in the comments box below. But what I will do is I will respond to those questions at the end of the tutorial, so that I don't lose track of what I'm doing, because there's quite a lot of steps that I'll be covering today. All right, so without wasting a lot of time, let's dive in and let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you want to do here is to install the Advanced Custom Fields plugin. So I'm going to come over here to Plugins, click on Add New. On the top right, you want to search for the Advanced Custom Fields plugin. So I'm just going to search for it, and here it is. So this is the one that we need. You can see here it's very popular. It's a 5-star, and it's been installed on over 1 million websites. So this is really a very good plugin. Right, so as you can see here, everything is active. So in your case, you want to click on Install and then Activate. Now, I've already gone ahead and done that. So I've had it installed, it's activated. So let's move on to the next step. So after you've activated your plugin and installed it, you'll get this entry here called Custom Fields. So this is where you want to come and click on Field Groups. Right, so you want to add your field group. So in this case, we want to add a pricing table. So we're going to click on Add New, and then we're going to type here Pricing Table. In fact, let's call it Pricing Table 1, because we're going to have 3 pricing tables. Okay, so now that we have our pricing table, the next important thing here is to make sure that your location here is set to the right place. So the post type here should be equal to page, because we are going to be adding all this onto a specific page. Okay, so now that we have all this set, this is looking good. All you have to do now is to click on Add Field. So now we need to add the fields of the pricing table. So we're going to start off with our first field, and our first field here is going to be called membership level 1. So I'm going to add it in here. Now, what I normally do here is to also add the field name by typing it out, but if you hit the tab key, it automatically fills it in, so you don't have to, do anything else. Right, so because this is a membership level, we want to be able to select what membership level it is. So on the field type, it's by default set to text. So you want to click this drop down, and then you want to search for select, and it's right here, select. So when people go to our membership levels, they need to be able to select what membership levels they are, the different choices. So we have our field type here called select. Now we want the choices. What are they selecting when they go to the pricing table? So what they're selecting is selecting between the light, the pro, and the standard. Okay, so I'm going to add them here. Okay, so that's light, pro, standard. So these are the membership levels that people will be able to select. Now, right now, it looks a bit confusing, but you know what? It's going to look good once everything is put together. Okay, so the next stage now is to go and add another field. So I'm going to click here on add field. So the field we're going to add here is for the membership description. Okay, so we want people to know what membership it is. So I'm going to come over here on the field label, add my membership description 1. I'm going to hit the tab key. Now I'm adding membership description 1 here because I'm going to duplicate these and have membership 2, membership 3. Okay, so I've got this all set. Now because this is going to be a description, the field type here is going to be text. So moving on, now let's add our last field, and this time it's going to be the pricing. So I'm going to add field, and our field is going to be the pricing. So I'm going to say price 1. I'm going to hit the tab key. And again, our price here is going to be a normal text field. So I'll just leave this as it is. So now we have all the fields that we need. This is looking great. Now let's go ahead and publish this. So I'm going to hit publish. Okay, so just to summarize what I've just done here, I've created a pricing table 1. And in that pricing table, I've added fields. So the fields I've added are the membership level 1, the membership description, and the pricing. So these are the fields that we've created in our advanced custom fields plugin. Right, so what we need to do now is to duplicate this, because this is only the first pricing table. So we are going to need 2 more. So we need to duplicate this and replace pricing table 1 with pricing table 2 and pricing table 3. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to field groups. So here's our field group. So all I have to do now is to duplicate this twice, like that. Okay, so now we have our field groups. So I need to just go into each and one of these now and just rename these. So I'm going to click here on edit. So this one here is pricing table 2, and then here this is membership level 2. So everything else is okay here. And then here on the description, I need to go and edit as well. So this description is for 2, and then finally, we want the price. So we're going to change the price to price 2. And then this one is good. Okay, so I'm just going to click update. I'm going to go back to my field groups. In fact, this is now pricing 2. Now let's go to this one here and change this to pricing 3 and all the membership levels. So I'm going to click here on edit. So we're going to start over here, rename that to 3, go into my membership level 1, change this to 3. So the reason why I've done this is just to save myself from retyping these. So just duplicate duplicating them just saves me a lot of time. Okay, so we've got this now, and then pricing is the last one. Let's go ahead and do that. So this is price 3. Great. Okay, so now that I have all these, I'm going to click update. And then if I go back to my field groups, we should have pricing 1, pricing 2, and pricing 3. Okay, so these are our 3 tables. So what we need to do now is to, in fact, let me just show you quickly what has happened. So if we go to any page here and just click on add new, what you'll notice here is now you have these fields, okay? So you don't have to add these manually when you go to each and every page, because all you need to do when you want to add the pricing table is just to come here, choose whatever one it is. So you can see here it has created this drop down for us. We can add our description in here, our price, and then we can do the same on pricing 2 and pricing 3. So this is what these advanced custom fields are, and they've been added onto our page. By default, of course, this won't be there. So this plugin allows us to create these advanced custom fields. Okay, so what we need to do now is to create a brand new page. So I'm just going to come over here. In fact, let me just leave this. We don't want to confuse ourselves. So I'm going to click add new. Okay, so we're going to add a brand new page. So the page we're going to create is going to be based on our layout. And the layout we're going to be using is the software landing page. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this and just use this as my title of my page. Okay, so the software landing page. And then we're going to click on use the Divi builder, and then I'm going to click on use visual builder. Right, so this is the stage now where we get to import or add our layout. So I've already uploaded it, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video. So all I have to do is to add it now. So I'm going to click here on choose a pre-made layout. So I'm going to select that. So now I can go to my saved layouts, and this is where our software sale landing page is. So I'm going to click here on it. And now it's been loaded onto my page. So this is great. Now we can go in and add our pricing table. Okay, so this is, so I'm just checking here to make sure everything is in there, but you know what? Everything looks good. Fantastic. Okay, so now that we have our landing page, we have our advanced custom fields, the next stage now is to add our pricing table. Right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to add our column structure on the pricing table. So I'm going to come over here, scroll down until I get to the pricing. Right, so this is where we are. So I need to add a new column structure. So I'm going to click here on this plus button. And we need 3 because we're going to have 3 prices there. Okay, so now that we have these 3, we're going to make some adjustments to our row. So I'm just going to close that and go into our row settings. So I'm going to click here on this gear icon. So the first thing I'm going to do is to click here on design, sizing, and we're going to use a custom gutter width. So I'm going to activate it here. And because I don't want any spaces between my columns or my pricing tables, I'm going to set this to 1. Like that. So you can see here it is adjusted, but you will see what happens here when I add all my content, which is the pricing table. Okay, so now that we have that in place, let's go to our spacing and add some margins to the top and the bottom. So I'm going to click here on spacing, click here on margin. So because I'm adding it on the top and the bottom, I'm going to click this chain to activate, to add the same values both to the top and the bottom. So here I have my 100 on the top and the bottom, which is great. If you're just joining us, welcome to the special Divi use case live stream featuring an exclusive Divi layout only available to lifetime members and those who take advantage of our Black Friday sale. In today's live stream, I'm going to show you how to create dynamic pricing tables with Divi and our exclusive Black Friday software sale layout page. So with that said, let's continue with our tutorial. So now I'm going to add a call to action module on column 1. So I'm going to save this, click this plus button, And then I'm just going to search for my call to action. I'm going to select it. So this is where the fun begins. So we are now going to be using our custom fields that we created earlier on using the advanced custom field plugin. So over here, we're going to be using dynamic content. So this content here we'll be adding is going to be pulled from the fields that we created in advanced custom fields. So I'm going to click here on use dynamic content, and the information we're going to pull here is going to be our membership level 1. So I'm going to select it. Okay, so now you can see here, it has pulled this data from the database. Now it's called light. Okay, so which is great. Okay, moving on, let's add the description. So here on the description, we're going to click here and choose membership description 1. I'm going to select that. So right now, there isn't any information because we haven't added the description. So it's going to come in soon. So I'm just going to give this a check mark. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do here is to add a background color to this. So I'm going to click here on background and we're going to change this to white. So I'm going to select that. So now I'm going to add a background image. So I'm going to click here on the third tab, click this plus button. Okay, so the image I'm going to use is already in my media library because this was uploaded when I installed this layout on my page. So the image I'm going to use is this software sale 13. So I'm going to select it here, click upload an image. And then over here, we're just going to make sure that it's set to cover, center, and no repeat. Right, so the next stage now is to go to the text settings. So I'm going to click here on design, text, and then for my text orientation, I'm going to set this to left. And then we're going to carry on and add our text settings. So the first thing I'm going to do is to add my title font. So I'm going to click here on title text. We're going to change this to Rubik. So I'm going to search for it because I haven't used it before. Select it. So for the font, I'm going to set it to light. And then now let's add our color. So for our text color here, I'm going to add this color here. Now, if you don't have this color or you want to use the exact same color that I'm using in this tutorial, I will leave a link to the post in the show notes below. Right, so that's our title color. Now let's go ahead and add the size. So the size here is going to be 40 and our line height is going to be 1.3. Now let's add our body text settings. So I'm just going to close this and come over here to body text. So here on the body text, what I'm going to do is first of all, adjust my font, use Rubik as I did before. And this time for my body weight, I'm going to set this to medium. Okay, so moving on, we need to add our body text color. Now this time our color is going to be an RGBA value. So you need to click here on this eyedropper tool, drag the slider down a little bit so we can start, so that we see these arrows, so these brackets, and then paste your value here. And again, this color is going to be in the post, which I'll link to in the show notes below. Right, so moving on, the body text needs to be set to 15 and our line height 1.8. Okay, so right now nothing is showing because we haven't added the description yet. So it might seem a bit weird here that all the settings that we've added have not been applied here as it did with the title, but we'll fix it very soon. Okay, so now that we have the text there all set, let's go to the spacing. So we need to add a top padding of 60 pixels. So I'm going to come over here, spacing, top padding of 60. Okay, so moving on. We need to go to the borders and add a border. Okay, so what we're going to do is click here on border. So my border, my rounded corners here are going to be added to the top. So I'm just going to break this chain, add my 8 pixels here to the top and over here to the right. Okay, now let's go to the box shadow. So over here, I'm going to select box shadow and I'm going to go with this style. And now let's add our values here. So for our box shadow vertical position, this is going to be 50. And then for our box shadow blur strength, making sure we choose the right one, this needs to be set to 100. Okay, so then finally, we need to add our color. So our shadow color is also going to be a transparent color. So I'm going to click here on the eyedropper tool, add my color between the brackets, just like that. Okay, so now we have a beautiful glow behind there. Okay, so that's looking good. So for now, I think we've added quite a lot of information. Let's add a text module now. So I'm going to come over here to column 1, click the plus button. So search for my text module. So this text module here is going to have our pricing, okay? So what I'm going to do is to just make sure that in the content area here, we click on this dynamic link and then point this to the pricing. And again, nothing is showing yet because we haven't added the pricing. Okay, so now let's add the background color. So I'm going to click here on background, click the plus button, and my background color here is going to be white. Now it's time to go to the text settings. So I'm going to click here on design, text, and I want to change the font to Rubik. And then I'm going to change my font weight to light, and then the size to 70, and the line height to 1. Okay, so I'm going to save now. Right, so right now it looks a bit weird because, or maybe a bit confusing because nothing is showing here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and add some content into the custom fields that we created earlier on. So I'm just going to save this. In fact, I'll publish this because I want to make sure that my settings don't go away. Okay, so now that I've saved this, I'm just going to open this in a new tab. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that we still have this page. So I'm going to open this in a new tab. Then I'm going to go to my dashboard. So in my dashboard here, I'm just going to go to that particular page that we're working on. And it's called Software Sale Landing Page. I'm going to click on Edit. So notice here that all I have to do is to add all my values. In fact, let me collapse this. Right, so all I have to do is to add all my values here. So right now, the value that is only showing is the one which says light. Okay, so let me just show you here again. So that's that. So let's populate this area here, the membership description and the price. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to Lorem 2 to just to copy some dummy text from that. So I'm just going to copy this. So this is going to be our description. So I'm going to add my description here. And then I'm going to add my pricing. So my pricing here, I'll just add 18. Okay. So this information here, as you can see, is going to be added automatically to pricing table 1. So we don't need to add any information anywhere else. It's just going to be in this area here, and then it's going to be populated there. And then it's going to take all the design settings that we are adding right now. So I'm going to click on update. And if I come back over here on the page where I'm working on, if I refresh, this should have all my content. So there we go. So we have light, we have the description that we just added, and there's my pricing there, and it's 18. Okay. Okay, so let's continue here and style my price. So I'm going to click here on this gear icon to go back into my text settings. So what I'm going to do here is to add my text color. So I'm just going to make sure this is in sight. Click on design, or you can just come over here and go to this eyedropper tool and add the color. Just going to add it like that. So you can see here it's just changed. My size here, it's 70, and my line height is 1 EM. Okay, so we have all that in place. So what we can also do here, you can see here that in our custom fields, all it takes is just the value. So what you want to do as well is to just make sure that you customize it. So I'm going to come back over here to my price, edit it. So because we know this is always going to be a pricing, so we might as well add our $sign here before. Okay, so you can have it like that, where it says price and then like that, or you can just add just a $sign just like that and then save. So that will make a lot more sense when you add the data in. Okay, so now that we have this, now let's go to bottom padding and left padding, because we want to give this a bit of breathing space. So we're going to click here on design, spacing, and then we're going to go to left padding at 40. Now you can see everything is all aligned. And then we're going to add a bottom padding of 60. Right, so next we need to go to the borders. So I'm going to click here on border. And this time we're going to add our borders to the bottom. So I'm going to break this chain, because if you don't break it, whatever value you're going to add here is going to be applied to all the four corners. So I'm just going to add 8 here, 8 here as well. Now let's go to the box shadow. So I'm going to choose my style. I'm going to select this one here, which is similar to what I chose before. And now we can add our vertical position. So this is going to be 80. We're going to come over here to our blur strength, set this to 100. And then we also need to add our color, and this color is going to be an RGBA. So as before, we need to click here on the eyedropper tool and paste the values between the brackets. So if you want to use the same values as I'm using in this tutorial, I will leave a link to the post in the description below. So the post has all the step-by-step instructions and also the settings that I'm using throughout this tutorial. If you're just joining us, welcome to the special Divi use case live stream featuring an exclusive Divi layout only available to lifetime members and those who take advantage of our Black Friday sale. In today's live stream, I'm going to show you how to create dynamic pricing tables with Divi and our exclusive Black Friday software sale layout page. So with that said, let's continue with our tutorial. Okay, so now what we need to do is to give this button some breathing space. So I'm going to click here on this gear icon to go into the button settings, click on design, spacing. So we're going to need a top margin of 30. So I'm going to click here on margin, add my 30. And I also need a bottom margin of, in fact, this time it's going to be 50 for the bottom. Okay, so that looks much better now because we have a bit of breathing space there. Now, what is also important here is to make sure that for your button settings, you need to give this button a URL. So you need to come over here to the link and then just add a link to that. So right now, I'm just going to give it a blank link. But in your case, in a production situation, this needs to link to the specific page which has this product. So now that all this is all set, I'm just going to save this. So the next stage now is to clone all this and add it to these two extra columns. So let's go ahead and do that. So it'll be more difficult if we try to do this one by one. So I'm just going to use multi-select for this. So I'm going to hold down my command key. If you're on a PC, it's control. So hold it down and then click on all the elements that you need to move over. So now that I have these three elements here, I'm just going to hit command C. Or Control C if you're on a PC, and then just paste by adding Control V or Command V. Okay, I'm just going to do it here again. Right, so all I have to do now, I'm not sure what happened here, so I'm just going to drag these into their right positions. Okay, like that, and then the pricing needs to be on the bottom here. Okay, so that's looking much better. Do the same over here, and then the price. Okay, so now we have our pricing structure. So what we need to do now is to update our custom fields here to reflect the right thing. So what I'm going to do again here is to go back here and add my information here to my pricing table 2 and pricing table 3. Right, so here this is going to be Pro, so I'm going to select Pro. Membership description. I'm just going to go to my Lorem website again. I'm just going to copy this description here and then paste it on my description. And then for my pricing, this time this is going to be say 28. Right, so that's all the information I need to add for pricing table 2. Next, let's add pricing table 3 content. So I'm going to click this drop down, click on standard. Okay, add my description. And then I'm going to add my price, and this time I'm just going to say maybe 38. Click update. Okay, so what we need to do next is to make sure we map all these fields correctly. So I'm just going to click on update one more time here just to make sure everything has been saved. And then I'm going to come over here. So I'm going to go to each and every one of these fields and make sure I update all my dynamic fields. Right, so I'm going to come over here to the first field. I'm going to click here on my settings. So as you can see, this is set to membership level 1. So let's change this to membership level 2. So I'm just going to delete that. Click this again, membership level 2. Save that and then save it. And then here, I'm going to change the description. So I'm going to click here on my gear icon, membership description, click on the dynamic link, and this time it's description 2. I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to come to the pricing. I'm going to click here on this gear icon. I'm going to delete my pricing here. And then add my pricing. And this time this is going to be price 2. And before, I'm going to add my $. Save. Then save that. And then the final one here, I'm just going to click on gear. And then go in here and, in fact, I need to delete it. And then add, this is now membership level 3. I'm going to save that. Membership description, this is membership description 3. Save that. And then now it's time to add our pricing. So I'm going to click here on this gear icon, change my pricing, link it to pricing 3, add my $, and save that. Right, so now that we have all these 3 pricing tables, we need to go in and differentiate these now. So I'm going to click here on the middle one, click on the gear icon, and then click on background. So what we need to do here is to just add a gradient. So I'm going to click here on the second tab, click the plus button to add our gradient colors. So I'm going to start with my first color here, paste my color. So let's take a look at what's happening. Okay. And then I am going to also add my second color. So I'm going to come over here, paste my second color. Now we need to make a few adjustments. So our gradient direction here is fine, it's linear, but we need to change the direction to 15 degrees. We also need to change our start and end position. So our start position here is going to be 22, and then our end position is going to be 95. Next, we're going to change the title color here to white. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to save this. In fact, I shouldn't have saved that because I can always just come over here to title text, change it to white. Now, the reason why I've just done that is because this is a slightly dark background, so we want to make it easier to read on this background. So it's always good contrast. So the next thing we need to do here as well is change our color of the body text. So I've just clicked here on this brush tool. Then we're going to make this white as well. So you can see now here that it's much easier to read on this background. So next we're going to add some margins. So I'm going to click here on spacing, and on the top we're going to add a margin of -50, and then I might as well add my sizes for my tablet and phone. So I'm going to click here on this icon and then make sure here that I'm on the right tab, add 0 for the tablet and 0 for the phone. Then I'm just going to come back over here. We're also going to add a top padding of 100. So I'm going to change that. So now we have a bit more padding here on the top. Right, so the next stage now is to customize this text module that we have here on the bottom, which has the price. So let's save this now, and then let's go in and click on the gear icon, click on background, and then I'm going to add my background color here like that. So that's looking much better. So again, as we did before, this text needs to be changed to white. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click here on design, text, change this to white, and now it's much easier to read. Now let's go ahead and add our spacing. So I'm just going to click here on spacing and add a bottom padding of 120. So I'm just going to change this from 60 to 120, and then my left padding is going to be 40. So this is fine because we already have it at 40. So this one here is looking great. It's time now to modify the third one. So we're going to go here into our settings. So let's start with our gradient. So I'm going to click here on background, click the second tab, add my gradient color. So I'm going to start by adding my first color here. I'm going to paste it, add my second color. I'm going to paste it as well. Right, so for the gradient direction, we're going to set this to 18. And then the start and end position. So the start is going to be 22. And the end position is going to be 95. So as we did before, we're going to change the title color as well. So I'm going to come over here to design, title text, turn this into white. We're going to do the same as well with the text here. Change this to white. And then save. Next, we're going to come over here to this text module, click on this gear icon. Let's add our background color by coming over here to background, clicking this plus button here, add our background color. Strange, not sure what happened there. Anyway, I'm going to add my background color here. Now the text as well needs to be white, so I'm going to come over here to design, text, set this to white. So I'm just going to scroll down here. So these are the two pricing tables. This is what we had before, and then this is what we created using our advanced custom field. Okay, so on this page now, let's say I want to change the pricing. So here we're going to change this to, let's say, 28. For the Pro, we're going to change this to maybe, let's say, 48. And then here, we're going to change this to 98. So this is all you have to do because everything is all set now. So even here, this description text, we can actually go in and change this description text to whatever it is. But the most important thing here is once you hit update, that's all you have to do. When we go to our page here now and refresh it, there we go, 98, 48, 28. So everything now has been updated and it's looking good. Now, in this case here, you would need to go in and make these adjustments one by one and also adding all that information. But once you've created this page, you don't have to worry about designing it and making sure the text is the right color and also the right padding and all of that. So what I normally do is I save this as a template, which I can use on any other pricing tables if I need to. Okay, so I'm not sure what happened here. I might need to go back in here and fix that. Okay, so it could be that I didn't save. Okay, so I'm going to click here on my module settings, click on background, and I'm going to add my background color. So now it's changed. Click on design, text, change this to white, save that. Okay, so I'm going to save the page this time. So this use case is part of our Black Friday deal where we share 6 free limited edition landing pages with Black Friday customers and lifetime members. By joining our empowered community during these days and becoming a member, you will get 25% off everything, all the 6 landing pages for free, access to our awesome themes and plugins, and also bonus prizes. So seize the opportunity and become a member today. Okay, so that does it for the tutorial. Now there's a few questions here on Facebook, so let me address these before we end our live stream. So we have Callum here saying, what is this called? I purchased the year subscription on Black Friday. Do I get this? Right. So to get this one, Callum, you have to be a lifetime member. So since you purchased the year subscription, you need to upgrade to either lifetime or you need to be a lifetime member for you to be able to use these 6 exclusive layouts. Okay. So you need to upgrade in order for you to use this. And once you upgrade, you can just go to your members area, Elegant Themes members area, and then you'll be able to download it that way. Right, let's take a look here. DFGFG says, I get my salary tomorrow. Right, so DFGFG, I think you might still have a chance. Let me just double check here. Right, we've got 14 hours until this is this deal is over. So you still have a bit of time. Hopefully you'll be able to get it because there's a lot of fantastic prizes to go with this. And even if you put the prizes, the prizes aside, just the value that you get with Elegant Theme subscription is massive. We have great support. We also have a lot of tutorials, use cases, and we also have a dedicated live stream on Fridays by BJ where he talks about what is happening in the WordPress world. So there's a lot, to benefit from this, and also our support is amazing. Okay, so if at any time you have any problems with Divi, you can go to elegantthemes.com. We have a live chat where you get real-time help from our support team. So it is amazing. And this is one thing that you want to have when you have a powerful software like we have with Divi. Right. Sycut saying my lifetime account is not working. Right, Sycut, please do me a favor. Go to elegantthemes.com and go on the chat, and you will be able to get help there. Right now I can't really help you, but please go to elegantthemes.com and go on the chat, and they'll be able to help you. Right, let's take a look here. Do we have any more questions? All right, so it looks like we don't have any more questions. So if you're just joining us, you can always watch this live stream again by, it's going to be on our Facebook and also on our YouTube page. So you can always watch the replay. And also for those of you that tune in for my live stream, I'd like to say thank you very much for taking your time out to spend with me on this Sunday afternoon. If you're here in the UK, I'm not sure what time it is over there where you are, but nevertheless, thank you very much for tuning in. I'll be seeing you again soon, and enjoy. Thanks for watching. See you again. Take care.